Daron yuactasf lef has no optio voto de levar. When you act as if your desire is already fulfilled, you step out of the position of waiting and into the position of command. Life does not respond to need, desperation, or hoping, it responds to certainty. The moment you move, think, and decide from the assumption that what you want is already yours, reality is forced to reorganize itself around that assumption. Acting as if is not pretending, it is aligning with a higher truth before the evidence appears. And once you align, life has no option but to deliver. Acting as if shifts your inner state from wanting to knowing. Wanting keeps you in lack, but knowing places you in power. When your inner dialogue changes, when your posture, choices, and emotional responses reflect fulfillment, you send a clear signal to life that you are no longer available for delay. Reality mirrors identity, not desire. Become the person who already has it, and the world must adjust to match who you are being. This is faith in motion, not faith in words. Acting as if means you move without hesitation, you decide without fear, and you trust without constantly checking for proof. The moment you stop looking outside for validation, momentum begins. Life respects boldness. When you walk as though success is inevitable, obstacles lose their authority. Resistance dissolves because there is nothing left to resist. Certainty overpowers circumstance. When you act as if attachment disappears, you are no longer emotionally tied to outcomes because internally it is already done. This detachment is powerful because desperation is the only thing that slows manifestation. Acting as if tells life, I don't need to chase this, I am already living from it. And when life hears that signal, it must respond with alignment, not delay. Consistency is what seals the agreement with reality. One confident moment creates possibility, but sustained embodiment creates inevitability. When your thoughts, habits, and self-image remain rooted in fulfillment, life cannot contradict you. Reality has no choice but to confirm what you repeatedly assume to be true. Stay in that state long enough, and life will deliver, not because you asked, but because you became. Acting as if is a command to reality. When you act as if your desire is already fulfilled, you are no longer negotiating with life, you are issuing a command. Most people live in a state of asking, hoping, and waiting, unaware that these states quietly tell reality that what they want is still missing. Life does not respond to words alone, it responds to the assumptions you consistently lie from. The moment you act as if something is already yours, you shift from being a requester to being an authority. This shift changes everything because reality must obey the position you occupy internally. Acting as if is not pretending or lying to yourself. It is choosing to align with the end result before the physical evidence appears. Every major transformation begins internally before it shows up externally. When you act as if, you are declaring that the outcome is settled, and you are simply walking through the unfolding process. This removes uncertainty, and where uncertainty disappears, resistance loses its grip. Life has no option but to rearrange itself to match the certainty you embody. The reason acting as if works is because reality mirrors identity, not desire. Desire alone keeps you in a loop of lack, constantly reminding you of what you do not yet have. Identity, however, operates from possession. When you act as if, you step into the identity of the person who already lives the outcome. Your thoughts naturally change, your decisions become clearer, and your emotional responses stabilize. Life reacts to this internal consistency by delivering experiences that match who you believe yourself to be. Most people underestimate the power of assumption. They assume that life is separate from them and that circumstances dictate their inner state. In truth, it works the opposite way. Your inner assumptions dictate how circumstances unfold. Acting as if is the conscious practice of choosing an assumption and living from it regardless of appearances. When you do this, you stop being emotionally controlled by external conditions. Instead, you become the source that conditions respond to. When you act as if, your behavior shifts in subtle but powerful ways. You stop hesitating, you stop second-guessing. You no longer move from fear of failure but from expectation of success. These shifts may seem small, but they are loud signals to life. Reality responds to clarity. Confusion creates delay, but certainty accelerates outcomes. Acting as if removes confusion from your energy, leaving life no room to respond with anything other than alignment. Another key aspect of acting as if is emotional embodiment. It is not enough to think differently, you must feel differently. When you emotionally experience fulfillment now, you collapse the distance between desire and reality. Emotions are the language life understands most clearly. By feeling calm, confident, and secure as though your desire is already fulfilled, you tell reality that there is nothing missing. And when nothing is missing internally, nothing can be missing externally for long. Many people struggle because they wait for proof before they change. They tell themselves they will feel confident once they succeed, peaceful once things improve, or grateful once their desire arrives. Acting as if reverses this pattern. You feel confident first, peaceful first, grateful first. This inner shift forces reality to catch up. Life cannot withhold experiences from someone who is already living in the emotional state those experiences would bring. Acting as if also requires courage, because it means standing firm even when appearances contradict your assumption. This is where most people give up. They allow temporary circumstances to shake their certainty. But acting as if is not about ignoring reality, it is about refusing to let current conditions define what is possible. When you remain steady in your assumption, life has no choice but to move in your favor. Persistence in belief outlasts temporary opposition. Over time, acting as if reshapes your self-image. You begin to see yourself differently, not as someone chasing a better life, but as someone who expects it. This shift in self-image is powerful because life constantly confirms how you see yourself. When you see yourself as chosen, capable, and aligned with success, opportunities begin to appear naturally. You do not force them, they find you. This is how acting as if turns effort into flow. It is important to understand that acting as if does not mean rushing or forcing outcomes. In fact, it creates patience. When you know something is already yours, there is no anxiety about when or how it will arrive. This calm expectation is magnetic. Life responds faster to calm confidence than to frantic effort. Acting as if places you in a state of relaxed authority, and authority always attracts results. As you continue to act as if, your environment begins to reflect your inner alignment. People respond to you differently. Conversations open new doors. Situations resolve in unexpected ways. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Reality is simply adjusting to match the identity you are consistently expressing. Life cannot argue with consistency. What you repeatedly assume becomes the path reality must follow. Ultimately, acting as if is an act of trust, trust in yourself, trust in life, and trust in the unseen process of creation. It is the decision to live from the end rather than toward it. When you do this, you stop chasing signs and start becoming the sign. Life recognizes this shift immediately. And once it does, it has no option but to deliver what you are already living as true. Your state of being precedes every result. Everything you experience in life is a reflection of your inner state, not the other way around. Most people believe results create feelings, that success brings confidence, money brings peace, and love brings security. In truth, it works in reverse. Your state of being determines the results you allow into your life. When you understand this, you stop waiting for external changes and start shifting internally, knowing that life has no option but to follow. Your state of being is the emotional and mental atmosphere you live in every day. It is the combination of your assumptions, beliefs, expectations, and self-image. Life constantly responds to this inner atmosphere. If your state is rooted in doubt, fear, or lack, reality mirrors those conditions back to you. But when your state is grounded in certainty, calm, confidence, and expectation, reality reorganizes itself to match that frequency. You do not attract what you want, you experience what you are. Acting as if is the tool that changes your state of being. It moves you from waiting into embodiment. When you act as if your desire is already fulfilled, you no longer operate from the emotional state of absence. Instead, you inhabit the emotional state of completion. This shift is powerful because life responds to who you are being now, not to what you are hoping will happen later. The moment your state changes, the outcome is already set in motion. Most people struggle because they live in reaction mode. They let circumstances decide how they feel. If things go well, they feel hopeful. If things go wrong, they feel discouraged. This constant reaction keeps them stuck. Acting as if breaks this cycle by placing you in a proactive state. You choose your inner state first, regardless of appearances. When you do this, you reclaim control over your experience and stop being emotionally dependent on external events. Your nervous system plays a crucial role in this process. When you act as if, your body begins to relax because it senses safety and certainty. Stress decreases, clarity increases, and decision-making improves. From this calm state, you naturally take actions that align with your desired outcome. Life responds more smoothly because you are no longer sending mixed signals of desire and fear. A regulated inner state creates a regulated outer experience. Another reason your state of being comes first is because it shapes perception. Two people can face the same situation and experience completely different realities based on their internal state. One sees obstacles, the other sees opportunities. Acting as if trains your mind to look for confirmation rather than contradiction. When your state is aligned with success, you notice pathways that were always there but invisible to a mind rooted in lack. When you maintain a stable, elevated state of being, patience naturally develops. You no longer rush outcomes or force timelines. This patience is not passive, it is confident. You trust the process because internally the result already feels real. Life responds to this trust by unfolding events in the most efficient way possible. Resistance fades because there is no inner conflict. What you are becomes what you experience. Many people mistake effort for power, believing that working harder will override an unstable inner state. But effort without alignment creates exhaustion, not results. When your state of being is aligned, effort becomes inspired and effective. You take fewer actions, but each one carries more impact. Acting as if refines your actions because they are guided by clarity rather than desperation. Consistency in your state of being is what makes results inevitable. A temporary shift creates temporary improvement, but a sustained state creates lasting change. When you repeatedly return to the state of fulfillment, confidence, and trust, life has no alternative response. Reality cannot contradict a stable inner position. Over time, the external world must reflect what you consistently embody. Acting as if also transforms how others respond to you. People sense your state before they hear your words. Confidence, calm, and certainty are felt, not explained. When your state of being changes, relationships shift, opportunities arise, and doors open naturally. Life moves through people, and people respond to the state you project. This is why inner work always produces outer results. Ultimately, your state of being is the foundation of everything you experience. Acting as if teaches you to live from the inside out rather than the outside in. When you master your inner state, you no longer chase results, you allow them. Life does not resist someone who is already aligned. Once your state changes, life has no option but to deliver experiences that match who you are being. Faith in motion forces momentum. Faith is not a silent wish held in the mind, faith is movement. Real faith expresses itself through action, posture, decision, and persistence. When you act as if your desire is already on its way, you convert belief into motion, and motion creates momentum. Life does not respond to stagnant hope, it responds to direction. The moment faith moves, reality follows. Most people believe faith means waiting patiently and trusting that something will happen someday. But passive faith keeps you stuck because it contains no energy. Faith in motion, on the other hand, sends a powerful message to life: I am already aligned, I am already moving, and I expect results. This expectation creates a forward pull that circumstances cannot resist. When you move as though success is inevitable, life accelerates to keep up. Faith in motion begins with decision. Indecision is the silent killer of momentum. When you hesitate, you signal doubt, and doubt slows everything down. Acting as if removes hesitation because you are no longer asking whether something will work. You are operating from the assumption that it already is. Decisions become cleaner, faster, and more confident. Life responds to decisiveness because it reflects inner clarity. When you move in faith, your actions carry a different energy. You are no longer pushing against resistance. You are flowing with expectation. Even small actions become powerful when they are taken from certainty rather than fear. Life is sensitive to intention. Action fueled by faith opens doors that effort alone cannot. This is why two people can do the same thing and get very different results. Their inner momentum is different. Faith in motion also rewires how you handle setbacks. Instead of interpreting challenges as signs to stop, you see them as part of the unfolding process. Acting as if your outcome is secure allows you to stay steady when things do not go as planned. You do not panic or retreat. You adjust and continue moving. This consistency in motion builds unstoppable momentum. Momentum itself is magnetic. Once movement begins, it becomes easier to maintain. Confidence builds with each step forward, reinforcing your belief and strengthening your state of being. Life responds to this self-reinforcing cycle by providing more opportunities, resources, and support. Acting as if creates a loop where belief fuels action, and action fuels belief, leaving life no room to delay. Many people wait for motivation before they act, but motivation often follows movement, not the other way around. Faith in motion reverses this pattern. You move first, trusting that clarity and confidence will grow along the way. This willingness to move without full certainty is what unlocks progress. Life rewards courage more than perfection. When you act as if, you naturally step into leadership over your own life. You stop reacting and start initiating. This shift in posture changes how the world responds to you. People trust those who move with conviction. Opportunities flow toward those who demonstrate faith through action. Life mirrors this leadership by offering situations that match your level of certainty. Faith in motion also dissolves fear. Fear thrives in stillness and overthinking. Movement disrupts fear because it proves to your mind that you are capable. Each action taken from faith weakens doubt and strengthens trust. Over time, fear loses its influence and momentum becomes your default state. Life aligns with this confidence because it reflects stability and direction. It is important to understand that faith in motion does not mean forcing outcomes. It means moving with alignment, not pressure. You take inspired steps while remaining detached from how and when things unfold. This balance of action and trust creates powerful momentum. Life responds quickly when it senses both movement and surrender working together. As faith in motion becomes a habit, you begin to experience flow. Things fall into place with less effort. Synchronicities appear. Solutions emerge at the right time. These are not accidents, they are the natural results of sustained momentum. Life supports those who are already moving toward their assumption rather than waiting to be carried. Ultimately, faith in motion is the bridge between inner belief and outer reality. Acting as if turns faith into a living force that shapes your experiences. When you move with certainty, life cannot remain still. Momentum becomes inevitable. And once momentum takes hold, life has no option but to deliver outcomes that match the direction of your faith. Detachment makes manifestation unstoppable. Detachment is one of the most misunderstood yet powerful principles in manifestation. Many people believe detachment means not caring or giving up on desire. In truth, detachment means releasing emotional dependency on outcomes while maintaining absolute inner certainty. When you detach, you stop gripping life with urgency and start allowing it to respond naturally. This shift removes resistance, and once resistance is gone, manifestation becomes unstoppable. Most delays occur not because life is unwilling to deliver, but because emotional attachment creates pressure. Pressure sends the signal that something is missing. When you constantly check, worry, or seek reassurance, you reinforce the assumption of lack. Detachment dissolves this signal. Acting as if your desire is already fulfilled allows you to relax internally. And relaxation is not weakness, it is authority. Life responds fastest to calm confidence, not anxious desire. Detachment begins when you stop tying your sense of worth, peace, or identity to an external result. Many people unknowingly say, I will be happy when this happens, or I will feel secure once I receive that. This mindset hands power away. Acting as if reverses this pattern. You claim happiness now, peace now, and security now. When your emotional fulfillment is no longer dependent on outcomes, life has no leverage to withhold them. One of the greatest paradoxes of manifestation is that the less you emotionally need something, the faster it tends to arrive. This is because detachment signals trust. Trust tells life that you believe the process is already working. Acting as if says, I know this is done, so I don't need to monitor it. This absence of surveillance removes friction. Life flows toward those who are not chasing it. Detachment also stabilizes your inner state. When you are emotionally attached, your mood rises and falls based on external events. A good sign excites you, a delay discourages you. This instability sends mixed signals. Acting as if creates emotional consistency. You remain steady regardless of circumstances because your certainty is internal. Life cannot contradict a stable inner position. Over time, this steadiness forces alignment. Another powerful aspect of detachment is that it sharpens intuition. When you are emotionally desperate, your mind is noisy. Fear and overthinking drown out guidance. Detachment quiets the mind. From this calm space, inspired ideas and right actions naturally emerge. You stop forcing solutions and start receiving them. Life responds intelligently when you are emotionally clear. Detachment does not mean inactivity. It means inspired movement without obsession. You still take action, but your actions are relaxed and purposeful rather than frantic. Acting as if places you in a state where you trust your steps, even when you do not see the full path. This trust keeps momentum alive without strain. Life mirrors this ease by opening doors without struggle. When you detach, you also release control over timing and method. Many people block their own manifestations by insisting on how and when things must happen. This rigidity limits life's ability to deliver in better ways. Acting as if allows flexibility. You trust that the outcome is secure, even if the route changes. Life responds to this openness with creative solutions you could not have planned. Detachment strengthens faith because it proves you are no longer operating from fear of loss. Fear always asks, what if it doesn't happen? Detachment answers, it's already done. This inner knowing makes fear irrelevant. Life aligns with the dominant emotion, and detachment replaces fear with quiet confidence. Where confidence exists, delays cannot survive. As detachment deepens, you begin to enjoy the present moment more fully. You are no longer postponing joy until a future result appears. This presence is magnetic. Life responds to those who are already living in wholeness by giving them more to enjoy. Acting as if turns the journey itself into proof of alignment. Detachment also transforms how you respond to setbacks. Instead of reacting emotionally, you observe calmly. You no longer interpret challenges as failure but as temporary adjustments. This emotional maturity keeps your energy clean. Life responds more quickly when it senses that you will not collapse under uncertainty. Detachment communicates resilience. Over time, detachment reshapes your self-image. You stop seeing yourself as someone who needs circumstances to cooperate and start seeing yourself as someone life naturally supports. This shift is profound. Reality consistently reflects how you see yourself. When you embody trust and inner fulfillment, life has no choice but to confirm that identity. Ultimately, detachment is the final release that allows manifestation to complete itself. Acting as if gives you certainty, detachment gives life space to deliver. Together, they create an unstoppable force. When you no longer chase, worry, or cling, you remove the last barrier. Life moves freely toward you, not because you demanded it, but because you allowed it. Consistency locks reality into agreement. Consistency is the silent force that makes manifestation inevitable. Many people experience moments of belief, confidence, and clarity, but they fail to sustain them. Life does not respond to temporary emotions or occasional certainty. It responds to what you repeatedly assume to be true. When you act as if consistently, reality has no option but to come into agreement with you. Consistency removes randomness from manifestation and replaces it with certainty. Most people shift between faith and doubt without realizing it. One moment they believe, the next they question. This inner contradiction sends mixed signals to life. Acting as if consistently means you choose a position and stay there, regardless of appearances. You stop renegotiating your belief based on temporary circumstances. Life responds to stability. When your inner position is stable, your outer experience must stabilize as well. Consistency begins with self-image. How you see yourself determines how you think, feel, and act. When you consistently identify as someone who is supported, capable, and aligned with success, your behaviors naturally follow. Acting as if is not something you do occasionally, it becomes who you are. Life always confirms identity. Once your self-image is set, reality aligns without effort. Daily habits play a crucial role in maintaining consistency. Your thoughts, words, and emotional reactions either reinforce your assumption or contradict it. Acting as if consistently means choosing responses that align with fulfillment. You speak differently, you move differently, and you respond differently. Over time, these small daily alignments compound into undeniable external change. Life responds to patterns, not moments. Consistency also trains your mind to expect positive outcomes. Expectation is powerful because it filters perception. When you expect alignment, you notice opportunities rather than obstacles. Acting as if consistently sharpens your awareness. You begin to see how life is already cooperating. This reinforces belief, creating a feedback loop where expectation and experience strengthen each other. One of the biggest challenges to consistency is emotional reactivity. When things do not happen immediately, many people abandon their assumption. Acting as if consistently means staying emotionally neutral during delays. You do not interpret silence as failure. You understand that timing is part of alignment. Life tests consistency not to punish you, but to stabilize your belief. When you remain steady, reality locks in. Consistency does not mean forcing positivity or suppressing emotions. It means returning to your chosen state whenever you drift. Doubt may arise, but you do not dwell there. You gently redirect your focus back to certainty. This ability to return is more powerful than never doubting at all. Life responds to the dominant state you practice most often. When consistency is present, patience becomes natural. You no longer feel the urge to rush outcomes. Acting as if allows you to live fully in the present while trusting the future. This patience signals confidence. Life responds quickly to confidence because it reflects trust in the process. Delays dissolve when urgency disappears. Consistency also strengthens your influence on others. People sense reliability in those who remain steady. Your words carry weight because they match your behavior. Acting as if consistently creates credibility, not just externally, but internally. You begin to trust yourself. Life mirrors this self-trust by presenting situations that reward it. Over time, consistency eliminates resistance entirely. Resistance exists only where there is inner conflict. When your thoughts, emotions, and actions are aligned, there is nothing for life to push against. Acting as if becomes effortless. You no longer have to remind yourself to believe, it is your default state. Reality conforms naturally to what is habitual. Consistency turns manifestation from chance into law. What you consistently assume must express itself. Life cannot deny a stable inner reality. This is why consistency is more powerful than intensity. A calm, steady assumption outperforms emotional bursts of belief every time. Acting as if consistently makes outcomes unavoidable. Ultimately, consistency is the final commitment to your chosen reality. It is the decision to live from the end, day after day, without needing proof. When you maintain this position, life has no alternative response. Reality locks into agreement with you, not because you forced it, but because you never stopped embodying it.